Good morning, YouTube, Facebook. This is Jay Trucker 717, and you are listening to Jay Trucker 717 broadcasting. All right. We have a lot to talk about today, and I just want you to know, make sure if you like this broadcast to like, share, and subscribe. You're going to hear me say that a lot. All right, what is up, guys? I am back. I used to do quite a few broadcasts in my 717 truck. Basically, what have I been doing? I just want to give a little bit of information. I'm going to be doing this weekly broadcast. It was something I enjoy doing. When I left trucking, I was driving for KLLM. And I was an OTR trucker, been out there over a year, going on almost my second year, before I got what we know today, not coronavirus, but I had full-blown pneumonia, which is similar to coronavirus. So, and I was sick. I barely made it, so that's how sick I was. I had full-blown pneumonia. And rushed to the hospital at a truck stop in Kansas City. And there I spent the next 2 weeks in the hospital and had to fly back and turn my truck in, and that's where the story goes. So that's what happened to me. So basically, I've been went straight back to school. Got my bachelor's degree from St. Leo University in business administration, and got my MBA degree as well right after that. Just kept going. So now I am officially MBA graduate. Pretty proud of that. So that's what I've been doing, and I miss trucking. Quite a few people have asked me, "You getting back into the truck?" No. But I'm going to offer my views and opinions, what I've learned, the experiences I've went through. And so you can take it from there. Okay, we're going to start today, and we're going to talk about, start with a couple news clippings. Week-long enforcement bliss to focus on severe spike in speeding. Now, we know right now a lot of people are quarantined because of the coronavirus, but trucking probably is pretty lax right now. There's probably not a lot of freight out there because of the simple fact that everybody's quarantined, and basically we're just dealing with essentials. But I know this Friday, which is today, Virginia is opening back up. And a lot of other countries across the nation is going to be opening back up. So trucking is about ready to get hot. You're about ready to see an increase. If you're not seeing an increase, I would say within the next week or two, you're going to see freight just coming from everywhere. So that's where we are. But because of that, now truckers are doing a little speed. And I get it. You try to get freight from, California to New York as fast as you can get it. I get it. But there's a term I used to use back in the day was, no freight is worth my life. And I warn truckers that you keep in mind that no freight's worth your life. No matter how fast you can get it there, you need to get it there safely. One of the first trucking organizations I worked with, Snyder National. One of their keys to fame, and one of the things they bragged about a lot, is safety. Getting freight from one place to the next safely. And I remember there was a time, and I've worked for Snyder, American Express. Was it American Express? It wasn't American Express. Anyway, but was it U.S. Express? Anyway, different trucking company. Worked for KLLM, and Snyder was one of the companies that the dispatchers literally told you if you could not get the freight there at the time they did, they would call the shipper and they would change the time. Not a big deal. I'm like, wow, okay. That's not usually what you hear from a dispatch. Because they really put a lot into safety. Remember getting calls from Snyder Dispatch, hey, because they had little sensors on the truck. So if you slammed on the brakes too hard, boom. Matter of fact, your dispatcher got a little notice, hey, he slammed the brakes. And they would call you like, look, dude, I'm driving this truck. Quit calling me. But you would get those calls. When you go around the corner, they had the little sensors on the trucks. Go too fast around the corner, they got a phone call. So they basically push safety. And I wanted to bring that up because of the fact that now you're seeing a lot of speeding. Again, you're driving an 80,000 pound truck with a lot of freight behind you. So be safe out there, especially during weather conditions, because that's usually when trucks usually go kind of crazy is when in bad weather. So you want to be safe. Be safe. So I guess in New York, they said, let's read what New York says. In New York, transportation officials reported an increase of more than 60% in the number of speed camera tickets. 60%, that's a lot. In Washington, D.C., traffic decreased 80% in March compared to January, while officials recorded a 20% increase in March speeding tickets. That's in D.C. Says over just one weekend in Toronto, Canada, police charged 18 drivers with stunt driving, speeds of 80 to 106 miles per hour. That is crazy. California reported an increase in speeding violations, although California Highway Patrol call volume has decreased. The crashes have recently responded and have been worse. Okay, I guess in Minnesota, motor vehicle crashes and fatalities were double. Colorado, Indiana, Nebraska, and Utah police have clocked highway speeds of more than 100 miles an hour. And in Chicago and Los Angeles went from travel speed increases to 35 to 38% above average to 74 to 75% in just 1 week. So again, what they're doing this week, from July 12th to the 18th, they're going to have their CVSA Operation Safe Driver Week. The last time they had it, they had 1,454 citations and 2,126 warnings for speedings. Again, these are, they have these safety weeks where they pull you into the truck stops and, they're looking for specific things. So make sure you be safe out there. Trucker sentenced to 3 years in prison for carrying a sawed-off shotgun. Now, I know when I was driving, I always talked about I'm going to make sure I get me at least a 9 Glock or something in the truck. I don't care what they say. I'm going to have something in that truck. Because you get to certain areas in the country where it's just you and that door lock on the truck. And, you don't know how many times in the middle of the night someone's knocking on the door, and it's usually somebody from the building. But it's kind of a scary feeling, you're in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes you're parked on the side of the highway, right around the shipper somewhere, trying to wait for the shipper to open up. And you just want to be safe out there. And so if you're going to have one, be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying. So this guy got 3 years, and I was thinking to myself, how did they know? How did they know he had a sawed-off shotgun in this truck? Well, let's read what it says here. Okay, it says, according to court records, McHenry's semi-truck broke down while driving through Napa, Idaho. Police contacted McHenry with a drug detection canine, alerted on the cab of McHenry's truck. Inside, officers located a sawed-off shotgun, which obliterated serial number shotgun shells. They had some meth in there and a digital scale. McHenry admitted to possessing the firearm, which was later identified as a modified Harrington or Richardson model Topper 58 20-gauge shotgun. The shotgun had a shortened barrel of 8.5 inches and overall length of 14 inches. So the National Firearms requires such a shotgun to be registered if the barrel is less than 18 inches in length. So if you're going to saw it off, you got to register it. That's what they're saying. And we all know that it's illegal to have a firearm in a truck. So, but I don't know if that's state to state, federal. I would think that's a federal law, but I know when I was driving, that was always, you can't have a firearm in here. Yeah, right. Okay. Be safe out there. That's all I got to say. All right. The FMCSA, which you guys all know what it is, you should know what it is for your trucker. It's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Basically, they've ruled on the hours of service. Their final rule, it just came out May 14th, which was yesterday. Today's 15th. So, what did they come out with these hours of service? And if you have any comments on that, please comment on this, because I've been out of the hours of service for a while, but some of this stuff I don't understand what they're asking. Okay, so first thing, we all know about the 30-minute required break after 8 hours of driving. Okay, so apparently the agency will increase the safety and flexibility for the 30-minute break rule by requiring a break after 8 hours of consecutive driving, which we all know, and allowing the break to be satisfied by a driver using on-duty, not driving status, rather than off-duty status. I guess I don't understand what the advantage is. You still got to take a 30-minute break. You're using on-duty time versus off-duty time. You know, I've been out for a while, so I don't know what advantage that is. If you can comment on what advantage that is, I don't see an advantage in that, but maybe I'm just not catching it. Okay, the second part of this, is 4 parts of this. That was the first part, the 8 hours of required 30-minute break is on duty instead of off duty. The agency will modify the sleeper berth exception to allow drivers to split their required 10-hour off duty into 2 periods, which I've used this a lot. This is a pretty handy feature here. The 8-2 split or the 7-3 split. You can use either or, and it doesn't count towards your 14 hours of driving. This comes in, especially in a situation you've been driving for 8 hours, you go to a shipper and you got to wait 2 or 3 hours. Do 8-2 split, keep going. After the 2 hours, you roll on out of there. I like that. That's the second one. The third one, the agency will modify the adverse driving conditions exception by extending by 2 hours to the maximum window during which your driving is permitted. So I guess instead of driving 11 hours per day, you can drive 13 hours per day. That's during adverse driving conditions. I guess that's basically during this time, coronavirus, they extend the hours. Okay, the fourth one, the agency will change the short haul exception available for certain commercial drivers. Again, these are the for the local drivers, I call them. The guys driving the containers and stuff. The short haul exception available to certain commercial drivers by lengthening the driver's maximum on-duty time from 12 hours to 14 hours and extending the distance limits which the driver may operate from 100 miles to 150 miles. So basically what this is doing for these short-time drivers is allowing them to be out there for 2 more hours, and you can be up to 150 hours without having to do logs and stuff of that nature and do what OTR, the guy drivers do all day. That's a pretty good thing. So those are kind of the 4 things that are coming up. They just made their final rule on it. There was no change to the 34-hour rule. They didn't extend no time. I'm like, look, guess I'm a truck driver. I'm like, hey, give me as much time as I can to drive. Because if those wheels aren't turning, you ain't making money, as we used to say. Okay. I remember this one radio broadcast used to say, Big Dummy Award. You know, and I think I need to have that on my broadcast, a Big Dummy Award. So this is the first Big Dummy Award. Okay, feds say reality star stole PP funds meant to pay trucking companies' workers. So we all know during the coronavirus, the Trump administration sent out the first stimulus checks, and there was funding in it for businesses. And one of the fundings was called PP Fund. Basically, it was if you have employees, if you keep them on the rolls, you get funding from the government. You don't have to pay it back. And they're called PP funds. So you can get a loan to basically do that through the Small Business Administration. This guy is a reality star on, let me read the article. A TV reality star is facing federal bank fraud charges for an alleged scheme involving a Georgia trucking company. So he's in Georgia. Georgia resident Maurice Fain, aka Arkansas, Missouri 37, was arrested and charged with bank fraud, according to the news release from the Department of Justice. Prosecutors saying that Fain misused funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, to the Small Business Administration to pay for lavish personal expenses like jewelry. So this Fain guy is on the popular show Love Hip Hop Atlanta. Okay, you know, good show. You got one asshole. Can I say that on the broadcast? That basically took the money that was supposed to be for his employees in his company, and he just spent the money. Okay, so basically what happened was he claimed that he had 107 employees, and that his monthly payroll was $1.5 million. He had started a trucking company called Flame Trucking. 107 employees, $1.5 million in payroll funds. And he got a loan, a PP loan he requested $3.7 million. He got $2 million for the loan, right? He took that $2 million and spent it. He didn't have no 107 employees. Big Dummy Award. Oh my gosh. He spent $85,000 in jewelry, including a Rolex presidential watch, a diamond bracelet, a 5.73 carat diamond ring for himself. Oh, I'm proud of him. He paid $40,000 on the child support. With the money. At least they pay the child support. I always say, people pay your child support. Taxpayers are tired of taking care of your kids. At least they pay the child support. But he's going to be in jail for a while, so he's going to get behind again on child support. All right, that is the news, guys. I know, we're going to go over a quick about the weather, and we're going to also talk about, show you a little thing about crashes and why it's important to be safe.
Yep. Oh, watch out! Oh, we got another one crashed over here! We got another one crashed! We got another one crashed! Really in there.
Okay, that was a crash that happened in Idaho on I-35. I-35 comes straight down Idaho. So if you're in that area driving, be very careful. Again, you see there was a truck already there, and then another one came barreling through. So it was pretty slick out there. So I remember one time driving, it was kind of rainy, snowy wintertime, and I was going as slow as I possibly can, and the road was coming down, and as it was coming down, there was a little turn to get onto the freeway, a little entrance. So I was trying to make that turn with the entrance and driving automatic, didn't have to shift or anything. So as I started to turn, the truck started to slide just a little bit. So I took my feet off the accelerator real quick, and it caught traction and basically turned. But that was kind of scary for a second. And it wasn't like I was going fast. I was literally creeping. And as I hit the accelerator to go, the truck kind of keeps going this way. I'm like, oh shoot! And I took my feet off the accelerator and it did. So that's why it's important to drive safe and slow during bad weather conditions. And don't think just because it's not winter time that you don't have bad weather conditions. You can have bad weather conditions in the summertime as well. All right. Let's look at the weather across the country today. All right, guys, this is where the accident actually happened. You'll see that's in Iowa, down I-35. So it came kind of straight down. So if you're like driving in the area, be very careful. Okay, this is kind of the weather broadcast. You can see down throughout Texas, there's thunderstorms down through Florida and up and even in Denver. So there's going to be pretty bad weather today, so be very careful. Again, this is the weather broadcast.
Hey everyone, it's time for a look at your national forecast. We have arrived at the end of yet another week, and once again, we're facing severe weather potential back across the central U.S., but you also see it there across the Northeast, plus additional rainfall that's coming down for Florida. Now, as we advance into Saturday, severe weather possibilities still exist for the eastern part of Texas, but we still got a lot of rain up and down the Mississippi and throughout the upper Midwest. Now spanning over into the mid-Atlantic, which finally had a bright, beautiful, sunshiny day on Friday, but Sunday we're still going to see some rain pulling across more of the mid-Atlantic and across the interior Northeast. You also notice how soggy it is back across the west. Now, coming up on Monday, cooler than average temperatures for many of you across northern California and western Oregon. We'll continue to watch the rain here, as well as additional rainfall for the eastern third of the country.
Behind every milestone and every innovation, in every industry, craft, and trade, there exists a mover. Someone who gets things where they need to be and gets them there fast. These movers make the world we know possible. Our progress depends on their commitment to a job done well and a job done right. They bridge our networks and span our gaps. Where others see obstacles that defy success, movers see nothing but open road. They know the ins and outs of this country, every inch of asphalt from New York City to Los Angeles. They've long hauled through the Rockies and the Cascades, through the Shenandoah Valley and the Blue Ridge Mountains. They've seen shorelines, plains, cities, and suburbs. They've seen the Great Lakes and crossed the Mississippi countless times. They put tools in our reach, the tools we need to transform today's ambitions into the accomplishments of tomorrow. Movers jumpstart innovation. They move our dreams and our inspiration. They move our joy and our laughter. They move our shelter and our safety. They move the bonds that forge our identity. They move the common good we cherish in spite of division. They move the moments we share with our families around the dinner table. They move the world. But what moves them? For too long, we've asked the movers who make our dreams possible to depend on outdated technology. Technology that compromises the planet we work so tirelessly toward perfecting. For too long, we've asked them to sacrifice their health and their safety so we can have better access to the things that give our lives meaning. For too long, we've ignored the simple fact that what we move comes at a cost to our environment, to the movers, to our future, and to ourselves. It's easy to accept what we have without questioning how we got it. It's easy to accept modest change that's outpaced by the rate of our failures. When we accept these failures, we choose to fail the same people who, for more than half a century, have refused to fail us. Movers revolutionized our world. It's time we revolutionize theirs. For those who bravely stand at the crossroads of innovation and enterprise. For those who are prepared to give our children a moral compass and not just a roadmap. For those who wish to leave the planet better than it was when we found it. For those who are driven. For those who dare to reinvent. For those who dare to reimagine.
Okay, guys, I love that video. That's the video of Nikola One. Again, I talked about it in the last broadcast about how that was one of the first alternative fuel trucks I was looking at. Nikola One, I think, is going to be basically talked about the different electric vehicles, electric trucks, and how that's going to enter into the last mile. I think Nikola One is going to be the primary changer when it comes to OTR driving, which is what I did most of my trucking career. The Nikola One is a hydro-fueled truck, burns zero emissions, and it's ran off of hydrogen. And basically what the truck does is extracts hot hydrogen and creates electricity to charge up the battery. So with this, they've kind of figured out, I started out around 50, an average truck, we all know it's around 7 miles per gallon. I've seen them as high as 8, 9. You know, some people said bragged about 10 miles per gallon. You don't see it a lot. Mostly automatics, they're running around 8, 9, which is pretty decent. But the Nikola One, again, we talked about how fuel is going to be your number one cause. Nikola One is going to be running at 15 miles per hydrogen. So when you compare it to gasoline, it's going to get 15 miles per gallon versus 7 to 8 miles per gallon. That's pretty much a game changer. Now, I just looked at the recent article, the predictions as high as 20 miles per gallon. So you're talking about a diesel vehicle. Well, it won't be a diesel vehicle, it'll be a hydrogen vehicle. But you're talking about a truck that's going to get about 20 miles per gallon versus 7 or 8 miles per gallon. That's a big game changer in the fuel cost, especially on OTR. So with the combination of these OTR, these hydrogen vehicles, and these electric vehicles, like I said, you're going to start to see the mileage rate pretty much stable around $2. It may even dip below $2, maybe around $1.50 per mile is what you're going to start seeing rates run at because of all these energy efficient vehicles that are going to be out there in the market. And that is important, especially for you getting into trucking. Some of you guys buying these used trucks running 5-6 miles per gallon. You're going to be competing with big corporations who are able to buy these high efficiency vehicles and 20 miles per gallon, zero, with electric trucks. It's going to be quite difficult. So you keep that in mind. And that vehicle, that video always gives me the vibe of the trucking industry and what we do in the trucking industry. So I always love it. But again, this is J Trucker 717, and you have been listening to the Trucker 717 broadcasting. I am going to be doing this on a weekly basis. And if you have any comments, please listen in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and click that subscribe button. Trucker 717 out.